More than 2 years after the death of Jimmy Mabenga on board a removal flight to Angola, allegations of excessive force used by escort guards on detainees continue to emerge.
We received a great many responses, many of which related to what were alleged to have been excessive force being applied by private security contractors, formerly G4S, now Reliance, during the course of removal.
They broke my nose and they injured my eye, and all my teeth, my gums were bleeding. Everything, all my face was bleeding.
Civil liberties group Liberty have been granted permission for a judicial review, which will challenge the current use of force policy.
Liberty decided to ask for a copy of the Home Secretary's use of force policy, but the Home Secretary refused to give it to us in its entirety. Very significant parts of it were withheld from us. We decided to issue a judicial review of the Home Office's failure to give us a copy of that document. And we are also challenging the underlying policy itself, because we say it is clearly insufficient and unsafe for the purposes of removing people on aircraft.
Both the police and UKBA are currently investigating a complaint by Cameroonian Marius Betondi, who alleges he was assaulted by escort guards during an attempted removal flight in January. Betondi spoke to The Guardian from detention at Harmondsworth Immigration Removal Centre.
So they took me around at the back seat. There were no passengers in the aircraft except the hostesses. One escort sat on my right-hand side. The other one sat in my left-hand side. They held me in a static position. Because they were pulling my hands now outwards, the cops were hurting me so much. So I started screaming, asking them to stop what they were doing. Instead, they continued. And they started punching me all of a sudden. They started punching me as if it was a boxing championship. Blood started oozing out of my face, terribly. They broke my nose and they injured my eye, and all my teeth, my gums were bleeding. Everything, all my face was bleeding. They started pushing my head now down. It's like they were stabbing me with knives on my spinal cord, the pain I had. It's like I went unconscious as they pressed me under that chair, until when one of them said, let them lift me up, until when I recovered consciousness.
One of the documents that we've uncovered during the course of these proceedings is a document dated the summer of 2008. And it's a report that was specifically commissioned by the UK Borders Agency of the Prison Service. And they appear to have gone to the Prison Service and said, can you please give us some advice on what we're doing well, what we need to work on? The Prison Service clearly advised them, you need to purchase scenario-based training for your control and restraint instructors, security officers. You need to purchase that in an aircraft type scenario. Basically, in that document, they were acknowledging that the current policy didn't fit, it wasn't appropriate, that something needed to be done about it. And that was in 2008, and it's now 2013, and we still don't have a robust, safe policy.
Guy Ngassa, who says he was tortured in Cameroon for being homosexual, claims he was assaulted by escort guards during an attempted removal in July last year.
J'ai demandé mon passeport maintenant à l'escorte le numéro 3 qui était devant moi. Il a dit que non, j'attends que l'avion décolle avant qu'il me remette. Il a commencé à supplier maintenant les deux escortes. L'agence numéro 3, c'est lui qui a d'abord commencé. Il m'a frappé d'abord là. Il m'a éclangé très violemment. Il m'a écrangé, il m'a très fort, il m'a écrangé, il m'a poussé sur la chaise, il m'a retenu. Et quand ils ont cogné les coups de coude, directement l'autre qui était devant moi m'a donné maintenant un bon coup de poing sur mon bas-ventre. L'autre maintenant qui était à la gauche a pris ma main ici, il m'a mis les minottes. Ma main était devant. L'autre qui était à la droite, il a utilisé trop la force, il a tiré ma main par derrière. Il s'est maintenant levé maintenant avec son genou. Il m'a donné un coup de genou sur mes testicules. Bam! Il m'a vraiment fait mal. Lui, il m'a mordu juste parce qu'il voulait me défendre. Il m'a appuyé très fort. Il m'a donné un coup de poing sur la tête, au côté gauche de ma tête. J'ai perdu connaissance dans l'avion.
A spokesperson from UKBA said the complaint made by Mr. Ngassa has been thoroughly investigated and found to be completely unsubstantiated. In response to the other allegations, UKBA said,
Where we in the courts find that an individual has no right to be in the UK, we expect them to leave. Where they refuse, we will enforce their removal.
A spokesperson from Taskor said,
Although we can't comment on individual cases, Taskor focuses on ensuring its methods of operations are compliant with the relevant statutory regulations. If employees have not met our standards, we will undertake appropriate disciplinary procedures.
The use of force policy that we have at the moment that governs the way some of the most vulnerable people in our society are being treated is completely unsafe. It's not fit for purpose, and that's what needs to change.